The miracle of Jesus turning water into wine is the first recorded miracle of Jesus in the Gospel of John. It took place at a wedding in Cana of Galilee and reveals both his compassion and his divine power. The setting, a wedding in Cana. Jesus, his mother Mary, and his disciples were invited to a wedding feast, John 2:1-2. In Jewish culture, weddings were major celebrations that could last several days. Running out of wine during such an event was not just inconvenient, it was embarrassing for the host. The problem, the wine ran out during the celebration. The wine ran out, John 2:3. Mary noticed the problem and told Jesus, "They have no wine." She didn't demand a miracle, she simply brought the need to him. This teaches us something powerful. When there is a need, bring it to Jesus. The instruction, fill the jars. Jesus told the servants to fill 6 stone water jars with water, John 2:6-7. These jars were used for ceremonial washing and could hold a large amount of water. The servants filled them to the brim. Their obedience is important. They didn't question how water could solve a wine shortage. They simply followed his instructions. The miracle, water becomes wine. Jesus told them to draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet, John 2:8. When the master tasted it, the water had become wine, excellent wine, John 2:9-10. Not only did Jesus provide wine, but he provided the best wine. The master even commented that most people serve the best first and the inferior later, but this host had saved the best for last. The meaning behind the miracle, John 2:11 says this was the first of the signs through which Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. This miracle reveals several truths. Jesus cares about everyday needs. Even something as simple as a wedding shortage matters to him. Obedience unlocks miracles. The servants followed instructions without argument. Jesus transforms the ordinary. Water became wine. The ordinary became extraordinary. The best is still to come. God is not limited by what has run out. Have you run out of something? Strength, joy, peace, resources, hope? Just as Jesus stepped into that wedding situation, he can step into yours. When you give him what you have, even if it seems ordinary, he can transform it. What looks empty can become overflowing. What feels disappointing can turn into a testimony. The same Jesus who turned water into wine is still able to turn lack into abundance and sorrow into joy. The story of Jesus turning water into wine in John 2:1-11 reminds us that God is deeply concerned about the details of our lives. It wasn't a healing crusade. It wasn't a storm being calmed. It was a wedding celebration. Yet Jesus showed up, and when lack appeared, he responded. Maybe something has run out in your life. Maybe your strength has run low. Maybe your finances feel stretched. Maybe your joy has faded. Maybe opportunities seem dry. The wedding in Cana teaches us that when something runs out, it doesn't mean God has left. It may simply mean he is about to reveal his power in a new way. Mary didn't panic. She simply brought the problem to Jesus. They have no wine. That's a powerful lesson. You don't have to know how God will fix it. You just have to bring it to him. And notice this, the miracle started with obedience. The servants filled the jars with water. It seemed ordinary. It seemed unrelated. But they filled them to the brim. That detail matters. Sometimes your miracle begins with doing the simple thing God asked you to do. Keep praying. Keep applying. Keep showing up. Keep trusting. Before the water became wine, it was just water. Before the breakthrough becomes visible, it often looks like nothing special. But transformation can happen quietly and suddenly. Also remember, when the master tasted it, he said it was the best wine. That means Jesus didn't just replace what was lost, he upgraded it. God doesn't just restore. He restores better. He doesn't just fill empty spaces. He fills them with quality. He doesn't just meet needs. He exceeds expectations. So if something feels empty right now, don't lose hope. What feels like an ending may be the beginning of a testimony. The same Jesus who transformed water into wine can transform your disappointment into joy, your delay into destiny, and your lack into abundance. Your story is not over. The jars are being filled. If you were blessed by this message, join the family and subscribe to stay inspired with God.